the golden time of day. There is a time in your life when you find out exactly who you are. And that is the golden time of day. Y'all, I don't know if that hits y'all soul like it hits mine, but when you put truth and lyrics to some music, oh my gosh, my energy, my vibration just soars, and I absolutely love it. Music is energy. Everything is energy, you guys. It can shift your whole mood. And in fact, that's going to be our assignment for this week. I want y'all to find a song that speaks to your soul, and I want you to wear that song out this week. One of my strategies, daily strategies for feeling good, is music. I play music every single day on the loudest speaker in this house that you can. It's like, I don't know how far it is to the end of my driveway. It's pretty far. I drive to my mailbox, and you can hear the music all the way down the street. Like, the speaker is so loud. It sounds like a club, and I love it because I'm either playing jazz or just whatever I need in that moment, I play it. So that's another, that's not another, but that's one of the strategies that I want you guys to incorporate if you guys don't already. Not just music playing in your car when you're on your way to work. I want you to be intentional about shifting the energy in the atmosphere in your home. I love that song so much. There's a time of the day when you figure out exactly who you are, and that is the golden time of day. So for my note takers, for you, those of you guys who are taking notes, we're going to get into the content for today. Go ahead and write the word spirits going down the left-hand side of your paper, and I'm going to fill that in for us today. The reason why I wanted to talk about spiritual marketing is number one, I'm a business owner, and marketing is the bloodline of our business, right? If you're not marketing, you're not doing anything. Everybody needs to market. If McDonald's, if you still hear a McDonald's commercial, okay, and everybody from all the corners of the world has heard of McDonald's, but they're still putting ads out. Like, I need you to know what that says about you and I, that we need to do it as well. And I want my intention and my hope, my wish, my prayer is that you understand marketing like it is breathing, like it's synonymous with breathing. Like, everything that you do, you're sending a message to the marketplace. That's what marketing is. It's the message that you send to the marketplace. And you are included in that marketplace. So what is the message that you are sending to yourself in the morning, right? What is that conversation that you're having with yourself in the morning? Is that in alignment with your assignment, or is that in alignment with your fears, your doubts, your shortcomings, your things that you can't do, things that you haven't done? Like, what is that conversation? What is the message that you are sharing with yourself? Because the message, the marketing message that you share with yourself is going to vibrationally, unconsciously, subconsciously, and superconsciously come out of you. It's going to come through your post. It's going to come through your stories. It's going to come out in everything that you do. Insecurities, all those doubts, all those things that we think we can hide and conceal, we really can't, because it's all energy and people can feel that. So I want you to think about you being the first marketplace that you need to send that message to. You are the first marketplace that your message has to penetrate. And so I'm going to share briefly. Some of you guys have heard this story, heard me talk about this story before. When we lived in the apartments, we had a really bad snowstorm, and it was like really, really, really bad, like so bad the apartment complex themselves couldn't keep up with it. So they had to call other companies to come in with big bulldozers and clean up the snow. Well, while everybody was like stuck in the house, people couldn't go to work or anything. Like, it really gave me time to think. I was like, we're all sitting here in these apartments, And I'm seeing, watching people shoveling out their car and just trying to do the best that they can to get themselves back to work. And I'm thinking, this ain't even people's like dream for real. Like, people don't be like, oh, I can't wait to, like, oh, I want to live in an apartment for the rest of my life. Or, oh, people talk about, oh, I want a big house with a white picket fence and, my kids and my cat and my dog. It's not really people's dreams to aspire to, like, that's our starting place, like a, nice little apartment, and then we move somewhere else. And so I was thinking about this, and so I wrote down all these things that I saw that the apartment complex could do to improve their people coming in to the apartment complex to rent from them, and getting people out. Because like I said, this wasn't our dream to live in an apartment complex. And so I called the rental office in my ignorance. Okay, there is a time when your ignorance is admirable. Like, there is a time when you're in business and you're just out here winging it, just out here doing whatever you feel in your gut to do, right? So I didn't read a book. I didn't watch a YouTube video. I didn't get this from a Yanla. Like, it was just in my gut. Like, I need to have a conversation with the management of my apartment complex and share these ideas that I wrote down. I had a yellow folder, and it had a piece of paper, and it had a list of things that they could do. I told them that they should start hosting first-time buyer home workshops to help people get their credit together. What else? Or if they had any entrepreneurs that lived on the premise, to like have like some kind of weekly or biweekly networking event for the people on the premise. Like, I had a whole list of things that they could do. Set up the appointment. Went into the rental office, and I presented her with my ideas, and she was completely blown away. And she said, "What do you do for a living? Like, what is your profession?" And at that time, y'all, I had closed my store. I'm in between nothing. I was doing nothing at this time. My store was closed. I wasn't cleaning. So I'm like doing nothing at this time other than being a stay-at-home mom. And I said, I take care of my kids. And she said, you should look into marketing. And I was like, okay. I don't know at that time if I've heard of the term. Like, nobody in my circle was talking about marketing or marketing plans, sales funnels. Like, nobody that I knew would use that terminology. So I remember like looking it up, like, what is marketing? And when I realized what it was, I was like, are you kidding me? Like, this is like a category, like this is a thing. And so I wanted to share that story with you guys, because all of us have those intuitive moments where something just makes sense that it should be done this way, right? Or it just makes sense. Like, if you're in a situation and you see something and it's coming to you, like perhaps, maybe it's something at your job and you just look like, why ain't nobody think to do this yet? Y'all still doing it this way when I can clearly see if there was a system put in place and it could run a lot more smoothly if we did it this way. That, my friends, is spiritual marketing. Those little ideas that you get that, oh my goodness, like, how come nobody's ever thought about this? Let me do it this way, or let me present it to somebody in this way. But oftentimes what happens is we'll get that idea, we'll get that moment of clarity. It'll be a quick glimpse of clarity, and we feel really good about it, but then we don't take action on it, and we sit with it. And so because we sit with it, we want to go Googling and see who else did it, and maybe if we can find a video of exactly how, or maybe an ebook, or maybe there's a course, or even better, a certification that I can take in this idea that just dropped into my spirit. And then by the time we done sat on it, Googled about it, child, we done talked ourselves out of it. Now it's like, well, maybe that's not a good idea. Maybe, you know what? They're probably doing it they're probably doing it that way for a reason. I'm just not going to say anything. I'm going to keep this idea to myself. I want you guys to start understanding that those little ideas that come to you that say, oh, well, I can do this better, or it can be done. That is the Holy Spirit. That's God giving you your marketing strategy, your marketing message. And don't overcomplicate it. Listen to it and just be obedient. Just be obedient. Even though my rental office didn't take up any of those ideas, and she told me they were great ideas, and her ultimate reason was because insurance purposes, if they had the people there, then they would have to worry about the liability of it. I'm like, but you already got liability, whatever. People really don't want to educate people on how to really level up out of their own apartment complex and buy a house. Like, that's scarcity marketing, or scarcity mindset. But even though she didn't take any of my ideas, what I got from that meeting was that my little tiny thoughts that I thought were so good, and how come nobody's ever thought about this, she validated that for me. Even though she didn't take action and implement those things, just her looking up at me saying, "What do you do for a living?" and me saying, "I stay at home," and she's like, "Oh, you should consider marketing." What? Like, that validated my ideas, and I need you guys to know, you guys get those little ideas too. And the difference is, and I can only think about, many of you guys know I love, honor, and adore Coach Stormy. She talks about this too. Like, it's a lot of things that she does that it just comes natural to her, and then she learned that that's a thing. And it's so funny because when I heard her say that, she was talking about, she signed up with Les Brown and took his course on how to tell a story, and when you're telling a story, when to pause, how to create anticipation when you're telling a story, dragging it out a little bit. Like, all of those things are skill sets that people actually learn, where she naturally just knew how to do it. And so did I. And it's like amazing, like, wow, this is a thing. But you too, who's listening to this call live and will listen to the replay, you guys have that same ability. I just think that some people have more boldness and more confidence to take action on those things. And those are the people who we call leaders and trailblazers, because they start doing things that nobody has ever seen done before. And it's to benefit the greater community, the greater whole. So I want you guys to know that there is a natural blueprint already on the inside of you. You just got to be still enough to listen to it and to obey it. There is no coach on this planet, and that girl, Angel Richardson, yes, I'm talking about myself in third person, she's a bad mamma jamma, and she can give you some bomb marketing strategies, but she can't touch the strategies that silence. Call has not dropped. I'm still here. That silence right there houses so much information, strategy, clarity, wisdom, and my favorite, confidence. My favorite thing that I get from meditation is boldness and confidence. That's within the silence. This is how you embody spiritual marketing, not just marketing that, yes, you took a marketing class, and yes, you're going to sign up for a marketing course, and they're going to teach you sales funnels. They're going to teach you sales copy. They're going to teach you how to write copy that gets people to scroll and keep it above the fold and all of that jargon. But none of those courses, classes, mine included, are going to give you what this does right here. Your answers are right there. Number one for F, for spiritual marketing, number one is surrender. It is total surrender. How do you spiritually market? How do you embody it? Not get into, how do you be it? It's surrender. You have to surrender your ways. What does the scripture say? My thoughts are not your thoughts. My ways are not your ways. Surrender your ideas. Surrender. When I say your ideas, surrender your idea of how you think it needs to happen or how you think it needs to play out. Surrender to your God. Surrender your doubts. Surrender your inconsistencies. Do you guys realize that every day literally starts a new day? But we choose to focus on who we were yesterday, the day before that, how we didn't show up, how we didn't post nothing, and we get in that rut, and then so because we thinking about all the stuff we didn't do the day before, guess what that produces? Nothing for the next day. Surrender who you were. I don't care if it was just 24 hours ago that you were inconsistent or that you didn't honor your word. Today is a brand new surrender. Surrender your life, your old thoughts, your old ways, your old patterns, your old insecurities, your doubts. Surrender that to God. And how do you do that? I wanted to be practical. I wanted to say something, and it's like, okay, you told me to surrender, but what does that look like practically? And surrendering practically looks like self-correction, meaning if you, like I said, surrendering that it has to look a certain way. And so say if you were on this journey to become one of the most sought after life coaches in the world, and you think it's going to be because you got this job and now you're in position and now higher ups can see you, or whatever, like there's something external, now you got this new car or whatever it is, and you think this is going to be the thing that's going to take me to the next level. I just know it. This is going to be the thing. And then you get a phone call or something else just comes in to kind of throw you off the quote unquote track that you're on. And it's like, well, wait a minute. Maybe perhaps this is another opportunity, or perhaps this is another way that I should do it. Just be open to surrendering your way of doing things, because it's not always going to map out the way that we think that it is. Surrender the timeline. You know how many people tell me this is my last year of my job? You know how many times I heard that? This is my last year and I'm giving my job back to the economy, and they still in that job, and that's okay. Surrender the timeline. Surrender the follower count. Surrender the subscribers. Surrender all of that. And when you surrender, you get to go into servitude. Because now I'm not so attached to my own goals. I'm now attached to the greater goals of the world, of the community, of my household, of myself. Surrendering leads to service. It really, really does. And this is something that you got to do daily, momentarily, right? You got to surrender your way several times a day. I had to surrender my way of doing things, but right before I got on this call, right? So it's several times a day. But the whole point of this is just being consciously aware of all of this throughout your day. Number two for P is something that I don't know if Keisha's on the phone. I've heard Keisha say it. I've heard Stormy say it so many times, and it's this. Practice the principles to participate in the promises. What are the principles in your life? My principles are going to be different from yours. What guiding forces have you established in your life, and really governing your life around that so you can participate in the promise? Like my pastor said, everybody loves to come to church and hoot and holler and run around the church and shout. But then when you go home, are you doing the work? Are you actually putting the principles into practice? Are you really humbling yourself? Are you really being quiet? Are you really standing in your truth? Are you really standing up? Like, are you really practicing your principles so you can participate in the promises that God has ordained for you to do? Number 3, for I can barely even see my own handwriting. Here we go. Number 3 for I in spiritual marketing is to initiate some things. Initiate some stuff like your marketing. And you are the one that has to be the initiator. This is a one-man relationship. You got to be the one that initiates the sex every time. If you want to have the orgasm, guess what? You got to be the initiator every single time. Nobody's going to come and tickle your little fancy for you and make you have your orgasm yourself. It's just you. It's all you. You have to be the initiator. Just this past week, Valicia initiated her her networking event for entrepreneurs. That's initiation, right? That's not in her job description. That's not something she has to do. That's something that she is initiating, igniting. What can you start to initiate in your business? Like, I'm initiating my business right now. Like, literally, I initiated my classes again. Right? So now I'm making noise on Sundays again. I'm letting you guys know I'm going to be here at 3 o'clock on Sundays. I'm initiating this. This will grow again, right? Just like it grew before. This will grow as long as I stay the course and stay consistent. I'm going to initiate this again, right? Because I'm in business and I'm marketing. If y'all didn't know, right now in this very moment, I'm marketing. Hello? Everything is marketing. Everything is marketing. I'm sending out a message right now. I'm sending out a message right now on Instagram. I let them Negroes know where I'm going to be at 3 o'clock. I let them Negroes know on YouTube. I'm sending my messages out in the marketplace, right? Because I initiated that for my business. So you got to initiate things in your business. Number 4 for R, y'all, clutch y'all pearls. Clutch your pearls, because we're talking about principles. We're talking about operating your business from a spiritual standpoint, and you cannot do that without being righteous. Be in right standing, all around. Be in right standing with your creditors, your debt, the people that you owe money to, your credit. If your credit ain't good, make sure you're in good standing with them, contacting them. Excuse me. Everything ain't got to be all A plus and you done crossed all your T's and dotted all your I's. I think that's how you say it. It's just being right, doing the right things, living a righteous life. Because when we try to cut corners, we literally, what is the word I'm looking for? We grieve the Holy Spirit within us. When we are not in right standing with people, our spirit cannot really, 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 really be at peace. If you have angst with somebody right now, you know your spirit really, 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 it ain't in full peace, right? So do right by people, right your wrongs. Be the one to say, I'm sorry if you know that you was wrong, because this goes to, we are so quick to point out somebody else's faults, or somebody else, they ain't even apologize, or they're this and they are that. But are we that? Are we right? We got to make sure that we are being right. And so when somebody isn't being right towards us, what do? We start to distance ourselves from that person. We start to lose trust and faith in that person when that person starts to do us wrong, right? And so guess what? The same is for us. If we're not doing right, living a righteous life for ourselves, we're going to start to not trust ourselves. We're going to not depend on ourselves. We are literally going to treat ourselves the same way. I'll prove it to you. How many of y'all got a goal that you haven't accomplished, a goal that you wrote down, say, last year, and you never did it? You never did it. You see it? You never did it. Never accomplished it. All of us can attest to that. A goal that we wrote down and still ain't do it. And guess what? It weighs on us. It makes us feel a certain kind of way. It makes you not even want to really go out and do something. Because man, I'm probably not even going to do it because I ain't finished the last project that I had. Right? So it's important that we get right with ourselves so we can be cleared for takeoff. Clear for takeoff. When you know you right about something, huh? What? When you know that you right, girl, you like, huh? I'm ready to have this talk because I know I'm right about this, right? And so that gives you a boldness, that gives you a confidence. And so be righteous. Be righteous to yourself so you can have that unstoppable boldness and confidence within yourself. That was number 4. Number 5, for I, the other I, is, oh my gosh, is your intuition. Your intuition. What is that? Oh gosh, I heard, I read it. What does it say? Listen to your intuition. That chick is always right. It didn't say chick, it said the B word, but I'm gonna save that because it's Sunday. We try to be holy. But it said, listen to your intuition. That chick is always right. When I was sitting there in that snowstorm, and I'm seeing everybody like trying to shovel and get out, and I'm just like, oh my God, this is not our dream. This is like 90% of these people don't even want to live in this apartment. And I just intuitively, it just like came to me, hey, let me go down to the rental office and present this idea to them. Don't run away from those ideas. Write them down. At least write them down. At least you could do is write them down. My daughter will tell you we will be in the middle of, she could be in the middle of talking to me, or I could be in the middle of listening to something. I could be in the middle of driving down the street. I will get an idea and I'll say, Chris, text this to me. And I'll even cut her off. Like if I'm in the middle of talking and I hear, Chris, hold up, text this to me. That idea, I get it and I take the fast action. Sometimes it's just writing it down. Some things are meant to be written down and acted on later, and some things are meant to be written down and wrote down and acted on right then, but your spirit will know. But as long as you're in obedience and you have surrendered, I love when Joyce Meyer talks about that song, when she says, being in church and you talking about singing, I surrender all, I surrender all. She said, and then you get in the car and you look at your husband because you mad at him like, and I'm not cooking you dinner tonight either, mister. If you think I'm cooking for you, you got another thing coming. She said, but you was just in church talking about, I surrender all. Like if we surrendering, y'all, and if we are going to be in obedience, that is inclusive all across the board. We don't get to pick and choose when we're walking in the Spirit. We don't get to pick and choose when we're walking in the Spirit. Now, if you walk in your flesh and you want some get back shit, it's flesh all day. It's meet me at 4:00. But when you are walking in the Spirit, it's different. It's different. So listen to your intuition, because that chick is always right. And the last and final point that I have for you, and I'm so sorry I went over a couple minutes longer than I wanted to. The last and final point that I have for you guys in this installment of spiritual marketing, because I do want to get a little bit more practical, and we're going to get into that possibly next week. The last and final point, not that I'm not giving y'all practicality today. Let me be clear. I'm giving us practical stuff today. The last and final one, you guys, is trust. Trust. You know what? I don't know how to have doubtful conversations. Like, I don't know how to, honestly, you guys, I don't know how to doubt that I'm not going to continue to be one of the most sought after life coaches. Like, I don't know how to doubt that. I don't know how to not trust that Romans 8:28 is for me too. And that is that all things are working for my good, for those who are called according to his purpose and his plan. I don't know how to not believe that. I don't know how to not try. I don't know how to go back to my old thinking. And you know, when I was being interviewed a long time ago at, gosh, what was that station? I can't even think of the station. But it was the day that I got to talk to Iyanla Vanzant. And no, that wasn't the day I got to talk to Iyanla Vanzant. That was the day I was being interviewed by one of the coaches, Robert Pruitt, who is still, they're still connected. He is one of her coaches in her group. Um, he interviewed me, and he was asking me, he was trying to get me to tap into my mindset pre-Iyanla, before Iyanla, like when I was doubtful and the welfare mindset and the not believing in myself. And he was asking me questions, and I couldn't answer them. I couldn't like readily get to the answer. And he awakened me to something. He said, and I can't remember the composer's name. I want to say Mozart. I'm not sure. I don't know if I'm just saying that because that's one of the most popular. But he was saying, you're reminding me of, I'm just going to say Mozart. I don't know if it was him for sure. But he said that it reminded him of him because he once had a speech and he was talking about when you transform your mindset so much to become a new person, like you really don't remember that old person. Like it's hard for you to. It's all right. Prime example, y'all. Have y'all okay? We all grown now, right? Have you ever seen somebody that like back in the day, perhaps you was dating and you like, what in the world was I thinking? What would make me think that was a good idea? And for the life of you, you cannot, you cannot even come close to what made you think that was a good idea, right? And so it's like that, like when you transform so much, it's like it's almost impossible for you to go back to the way that you used to think. And that's literally how I feel. Like I just trust God. I just trust that every promise that I believe that I've heard from him is going to happen. I don't know how to not believe it, honestly. And I just don't know how to have doubtful conversations. I don't know how to doubt, like, how the fuck do you doubt? How can you doubt when just look at technology alone. Just look at technology. Like, how can you doubt if I doubt if I can get 10,000. This is the real big one for me. I doubt that I could create a 6-figure business when you have people in government, when you have people like, what is that Bloomberg name? That he's a billionaire. This man makes millions of dollars a day. A day. And there's people that are thinking that to make millions, that they'll never make it in their lifetime. And I want y'all to, if you can, just close your eyes with me right now. There are people on this planet that make millions of dollars a day. And then you got people who don't think they can generate $300 a day in their business that will add up to the 6 figures by the end of that year. I think it's 336, something like that, 316, something exactly that times 365 a day. You don't think you can get one person to buy something from you every day, just one person? Or not one person. Just think about 4 different classes or whatever that equals that $300 a day on the side to total a 6-figure income on the side in 2025 with all the technology that we got. We still can't trust that we can generate that? What y'all smoking? Because I don't want to go to y'all dispensary. I don't want it. Like, I know I'm making light of this, but I really want y'all to think about this. That Bloomberg man, he makes millions of dollars a day. A day. A day. And the only thing you need for a financial breakthrough, I know I could open up this line, and if I ask anybody, if you added six figures, $100,000 to your income by the end of the year, would that change your life? And I guarantee you, everybody, including myself, is going to say yes. Just $300, an extra $300 a day. Put that to the side. That's $100,000 at the end of the year. Trust that you can do that in 22. Like, trust that. Trust that. With your message, your anointing, the people that you're connected to, $300 is just the starting point to get your sick. And we still early, y'all. We March 2nd. We still early enough to make this your first or second, or wherever you are financially, your first six-figure year. Through digital products, we're going to talk about that next week, y'all. We're going to talk about that next week. I love y'all. I appreciate you guys. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank y'all for calling into this line today. Thank you guys for trusting me to be the pilot today. Thank y'all for letting me fly the plane today. That takes a lot of trust, and I do not take it lightly. I do not take that lightly. I appreciate you guys for trusting in me so very much. Our assignment. Now, I've been forgetting to give y'all assignments. I ain't give y'all assignments these past 2 weeks. Y'all got off clear. This week, your assignment is to find a song that speaks to your soul. And I want you to listen to it. And obviously, if you get tired of it, yes, you can change the song. But if there's that one song, sometimes there's just one song that I will feast on. And I've been feasting on this one song for these past 2 weeks. My spirit just ain't let it go yet. Sometimes it's one song that I really lock into, and it just helps me keep going. It helps to keep my energy up, my vibration up, my confidence up, my clarity up. And that's a blessing. That's a blessing that we have the gift of music. It's full of energy. It's full of vibration. Turn it up, and it can heal the sick. Like it's magical almost. So utilize music this week to keep you guys going. I'm going to open up if we have any Q&A. I cannot take much this week because I got my babies here, and I need to get back to them. Hang on. Let me go ahead and fully open up. All right. You guys, we are unmuted. Does anybody have any questions, comments, or concerns before we end today?
Hey, Coach Angel, I want to say thank you so much for this. This is really, really empowering. I wanted to ask, could you go over number 4? Like, could you repeat that again?
Yep. Hold on one second. Let me get back to it. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, right for R? Is that with the letter you're missing?
Yes.
Being righteous. Being right and right standing. Yep.
Okay. I'm glad that you pointed out that you used to have that mindset, but you have long adopted that, and it's not even a part of you anymore.
Mm-hmm.
So you don't know how to have disbelief in yourself or allow certain barriers to hold you back. That is so phenomenal.
I don't. I really don't. Sometimes I wish I did because I'd have more people around me that understand me. But remember, we talked earlier. We are the top 3% in this world that think like this. So here we are.
Here we are, and that just goes to show that even back in like the biblical days, you can see the Moses, the Aarons, and how it took a certain level of person to lead people. Like there is that person for every generation, and it's so needed.
Yep.
So needed.
Yep.
So
and
thank
they
you for
often
your
had to
courage.
go off to themselves, didn't they?
First, exactly.
Yep.
Exactly. And even in the midst of that, like Moses stuttered a lot, so he felt like he needed to have Aaron when God was like, you don't need him, but okay, I'll give him to you. Because that's just going to help you move you forward. But even with that, like just listening to you and saying, you know, you're getting back to doing your calls. It's like when you show up and be consistent, you're going to have 20 to 30, 40 people on your calls again. It's like a no-brainer.
It nothing else can happen but that. You know what I mean?
So true.
Like, and I don't know how to think this way. How to think for every Sunday for this year, I'm going to teach this class. I don't know how to think that people aren't going to show up. Like that just
I know, and even like when I did like the fashion for lunch, and the first time I had 4 women show up. This last one, it was like, I want to say it was a nice handful, at least 8 to maybe 10 people.
Yes.
And that was just in 2 months. That was just in a 2 months timing.
Yep.
So it goes to show that when you put it out there in terms of what you want to do and put your action to it, it's going to grow.
That's the only thing it can do.
Exactly. And the Fashion for Lunch is really just a collaborative effort on my part to build partnerships. Like, yes, I want to feature the business professional, but I really want to be able to style them. I want to make them my client, you know. I want to make them a hub, so when I host these different events, I don't have to restart over. I can go into my network and say, hey, guys, I have this going on. Let me know if you need our help. Let's go do a tour at, you know, Coach Angel's having this really dope content space. Let's go do a tour there. So just really creating community and unity. But it starts with taking action first. And if I didn't, and Lord knows you had told me to do this like a year ago.
Yes.
And it's just assessing, like, okay, I was doing every Thursday. I say, okay, realistically, I can't do every Thursday yet. Let's do 2 times out of the month. And so now I'm down to doing 2 times a month, 1 in person, 1 virtually.
Yeah.
But it just makes sense. It works. And I don't get to, you know, the other ones that I did was like a little failure. And I was like, okay, before I would just pull back and I was like, forget it, this is not for me. But this time I said, okay, let me reassess this. I didn't do this right. I didn't communicate here. How can I change that and make it better?
That's it. Yep.
And before you know it, it's like, okay, people was like, oh, this is such a dope concept. And now I have to really show up because I have Nordstrom supporting it.
Oh, you still don't have to show up.
Right. I still don't. I don't have to. You're right.
No, you don't. That's what makes you a badass, because you still choose to show up.
Yeah.
Girl.
Yes.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I'm excited about it. I'm so grateful for the connection. Excited about your vision. And that's it too. Like, we are visionaries too. And so when we spark the vision, people will get into alignment and see, can I help? Just like I was like, girl, I could have held the camera. What is we doing?
Oh my gosh.
Like, you got the vision. Put me in play. Put me in the game, coach. You know, like, girl.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But yes, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for being here. Thank you for calling in. I appreciate it. Anybody else? Anybody else? Oh my gosh, and wait a minute, Valicia. This is the origin of how we started, isn't it? Via conference calls.
Oh my, yes.
Over how many years ago?
I would listen to you in my kitchen while and Michaela, she was a little baby then. She's probably like,
do y'all hear that? Like, back to basics. Back to
I know.
basics.
And that was the thing. When I thought about, when I came to this new space, I was like, what can I do? And Coach Angel came to my mind. And I was like, oh, yeah, I can finally host these daggone classes. I don't have to be out here selling a tire and in a couch. I can focus on hosting these style classes finally. And now in all of that, one of the great things you said was that when God gives you these ideas, that's what you've been praying for. Like, I remember.
What? Exactly.
I remember God would give me these bomb ideas, like I knew would make me a millionaire. And I would be like, Lord, are you sure it's going to be okay?
You just said it right there. We'll be praying for these things, and then when that moment of clarity, that's the fucking answered prayer.
I remember God gave me the most bombest idea ever, and I felt like I was wrong for trying to step out on it. It was just, what? Really? Oh, okay. So a lot of times I'm thinking, like, I don't even ask God for money no more. I don't. It's a unguided prayer. It's like I gave you. You have the money. You have your hands and all those ideas I gave you. Open your book and flip through all the ideas the rosters of things I told you to do. And there is your inheritance.
Good. That's good.
So, girl, asking y'all for pay my bill? No.
Wow. Give me the confidence and the clarity on an idea that you have given me.
Yes.
Because that's the prayer.
Right.
That's the prayer. Give me the confidence and the clarity and the right people to pull this thing off, Lord.
Yeah. And I was just like, my car had got totaled. And so I was like, Lord, I know I have the money. I'm not going to ask you for it because I know you already gave it to me.
Yep.
And so when I was talking to a good friend of mine and we were just having a conversation, my insurance policy came up. And I was like, I can get the money for my insurance policy for right now. Girl, you know how long I had this insurance policy? Over 5 years now.
Wow.
And I was about to get another insurance policy before the accident happened.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow.
Like God will give you a strategy. And meanwhile, while I'm doing that, I have the money that I'm going to be making from the idea that he gave me with the style series to, put those things, continue to put that in place. So, listen, girl, God will give you that strategy, like you said, like the idea.
Literally, right? Yep. It's ideas. It's ideas.
And it's not even about the money no more. It's like, okay, daughter, I gave you what you needed to do.
Yes.
I put you in contact with the people that's going to help pull you out of it in case you get a little stuck and fearful.
Yep. And I think God gets more upset, more like, I don't know the word I'm looking for, just like come on, like it hurts him more than it hurts us. I'll say that. When we're suffering and when we're sitting on our answered prayer, right? I think it hurts him more than it hurts us. Like, just like with our kids, like, like there's something that your child should be doing or could do, and it's like, man, this is hurting me more than it's hurting you.
It really does hurt me more sometimes when I see certain things come up with my daughter or my children, and I'd be like, damn, but I can't be the one to always rescue. Yeah.
Yep. Powerful.
So we're really delayed in our blessings.
100%.
We're not delayed 100%. Because God's not on time. And we always say God shows up on time. No, you showed up on time. You finally decided to show up.
Our delayed obedience is what is holding up the spot.
Yes, Coach.
Us not taking accountability and owning, all that stuff is holding up the spot.
Yes.
All that stuff is holding up the spot, girl. There's juiciness on the other side of owning our stuff.
Listen, that is so important.
So good. All right, y'all. Listen, Valicia, we can cut it up. I don't want to do that right now. I want to get another caller. If there's somebody else with me, we're going to talk later offline. Is there anybody else
Right.
that wants to say their name? Valicia talking to me like we ain't just talked on the phone earlier. I'm like, girl, what is we doing? We got a class in here. I'm joking. I'm joking, but I'm serious. No, honestly, I just wanted to give anybody else an opportunity because I am going to talk to Valicia later. But does anybody else have any questions, comments, or concerns about today's class or the assignment that y'all got for today before we end?
Hey, Angel, I do. It's Summer.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm going to keep this brief. I just wanted to say thank you for the class. You got some wheels turning. One thing you said that stuck out the most for me was initiate. What can I start doing? And that kind of just stuck out to me and what it said to me. And for me, it was even as simple as having dinner at my house because we were going to eat something one night, and I suggested my husband make something else. And he was like, but we always have X, Y, Z when I make this. And that made me think we don't have to always I said, but we can do something different. We don't always have to have whatever it was with this. So just now that kind of stuck with me. And the message for me was we don't have to always keep doing things the way they've always been done.
Yup.
So when you talked about initiating, what can you start doing, like thinking outside the box and just thinking like things I can do differently, if, in different ways. So that just stuck out to me the most. But I thank you for that. But like I said, it went back even simple for dinner by us being just accustomed. Well, we always eat this with this. Like, no, we can switch it up. We can shake it up. We don't have to always have chicken and mashed potatoes. We can have sweet potatoes or, just simple as dinner. So it's like I can dig way deeper with that, but that just kind of like gave me a light bulb moment. But yeah, I appreciate that. But that's all I had to say.
That's good. And wait a minute, because I got a rebuttal. I'm so glad that you brought that up because it's in those little things like people don't understand. It's those little things that I did do, continue to do that just keeps me in a perpetual state of change. I write with my left hand, but I'm right with my left hand, but I'm right side dominated. So I do everything else with my right hand. So in times of manifestation and transition, I will brush my teeth with my less dominant hand just to get myself out of that stuck in eating the same thing for dinner. Like just that little thing, Summer, those little practices, those little moments that your mind was able to open up and say, we can eat it with something else. People don't realize that right there. That's the growth. That's the work. That's the work. That's doing the work. That's hearing a message from church and applying it. And when you keep doing those things, it just becomes a part of who you are. Change isn't no longer resistant. I love that you brought that up where you think it's so simple where it's just some dinner item, but it's not. It's your mind rewiring it to say, I can do something different. I love that. Thank you for sharing that. I love that. Love that so much. All right, y'all. We're going to go. We are going to go because we is well over time that I did a lot for us today. I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. I think about y'all. I pray for y'all. I snooping. I don't snoop as much as I used to. I ain't gonna lie. I don't really be snooping on social media like that like I used to. I really don't. That just helps me in my mindset. But I was on Valicia's page when I had to show up because I was like, what outfit can I mimic of her? And then when she told me, girl, you ain't got to show up like me, I was like, say less. Say freaking less. Give me my leggings back. But anyway, you guys, I will see you guys. We're going to be here same time, same place, God willing, next week. We will be here next week, next Sunday. But I will see you guys periodically throughout the week via social media. You guys, remember what I said. Put the music on. What's his name? Kendrick said, turn the TV off. I'm saying turn the TV off and put the music on. I'll see you guys next week. Bye.
To receive more information about additional products by Angel Richardson or engage her for seminars or women's conferences, please visit www.angelrichardson.com.